Before I learned what autism was, I had a lot of autistic friends, best friends who had autism. And um, one of the things that was quite funny is that before I actually had my assessment, I kind of didn't really, I suppose I didn't believe in autism in the way that maybe, you might if you knew what it is and what it actually does and how it changes, the differences in the brain and things like that. So I grew up in a family that kind of just thought I was quirky, thought I was a little bit different. I was oversensitive, according to them, those kind of things. But autism was never mentioned. And I married my husband before I had an assessment. I didn't really understand autism at the time. I thought of it as a bit of a social difficulty, which kind of made me think, yeah, I have issues socially. I've had issues socially most of my life. So I just thought of it as that, really. But the one thing that changed my mind, the one thing that made me you know, believe in autism, because how can you believe in something unless you don't know, if you don't know what it really is? So the one thing that changed my mind was a frog book. Now, if you are autistic or you've been through the assessment that I went through, because I know they don't always use it for every assessment, you may have come across the frog book. The frog book showed me how different I was. They gave me this book. They told me to kind of make a story around it. And I'm an author. I've written a trilogy, actually, called The Legends of Dothera. So I thought, I'm going to be brilliant at this, right? I'm great at this kind of stuff. And I looked at the book and I carried on and I read what I thought was reading the book. It has no context. You don't know what these like frogs are doing, right? So you have to kind of describe what they're doing and make up a little, a story around it. Well, I described exactly what they were doing. No problem. In fact, I took it completely literally, said exactly what these frogs were doing from page to page, section to section. It was only when I watched somebody else reading it that I knew why me reading it the way that I did was autistic. Because I didn't recognize any of the social context around any of it. I literally told the person what the frogs were doing, and that was it. Looking back, I can see where it was very clear that I was autistic. Having been through that experience, I now know what I did that was different. And I now know that my brain definitely does work differently.